a lot of like Estonian mentality, like, we keep our mouths shut, we don't talk too much, we just go, we just work, and then we see how the work goes, In a school, I couldn't understand what lessons I am sometimes, Math was easy, the numbers on the table, and English and German you can figure out, but there were some lessons that I just sit and I had no idea what we are doing or why am I there even, The referees are also, different. Like this is, I think, the hardest to adapt, Some games it looks like you can fight everyone, then there are no calls, and the other games there are, can't touch really anybody. If somebody in that age plays minutes in Euroleague or in ACB, it's a big thing, and it's hard to say that I didn't see anything in him.
Hello, Siim. Big thanks for joining my podcast. It's a great pleasure that you find the time to talk, and I'm very glad that you were so open to accept my request.
Yeah, hello. No problem. Let's try to have a nice conversation.
When I was doing a research, one interesting thing that was mentioned almost every time in every big interview with you is like, the fact that you were raised in the basketball family. And I was thinking, okay, former basketball player, basketball coach, mom, basketball player. Also, your wife is former basketball player. So I was wondering if there is any possibility in your family during family meetings to not to talk about basketball.
I don't think it has happened ever. Because we talk with my father, we talk a lot. With my wife, we talk a lot. We watch a lot basketball, so it's tough. It's tough to have it. I don't remember too many.
And do you talk with your father about your game, about like tactical side? Does he analyze your games?
Yeah, everything about Estonian basketball, about Euroleague, about my games, about his job, everything. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, we do analyze. Sometimes we talk about, let's say, team tactics and then some other things. What was good, what was not so good. How my game was. If there was something that patched it high or he didn't like maybe, or what he saw that was good. So we talk about those things.
I found in your old interview with Euroleague that you said that playing in your father team had because of the father in the team you had the harder way.
Yes, I think
because your dad was wanting more from you, because always in this situation everybody could say, oh, he played because of the father.
Yeah, no, this was not the case in my thing, I think, in my life. But I mean, I think he pushed me more because you expect your son to be better. Maybe some other kids, if you see that they have some, I don't know, family problems or something, you don't have to push them so much, or there are some days that you don't want to push them. But for your own kid, it's just hard work.
And tell me about the Estonian basketball, like at the beginning, your beginnings, because there was like end of 90s, beginning of 2000. There was the time when Martin Mursep played in NBA, and after a few years of break, Estonia played in Eurobasket 2001. And tell me how the basketball looked like at that time in Estonia, and because when you will have to rank the basketball among the other disciplines in Estonia, in which place would you put?
First, of course. But it's complicated because I think like football is played by the most people. Like the most kids are in football. The most, people are playing just for fun. They're playing football. But nobody really goes to watch football games. Basketball in that category is like for sure by far the first. They have the most spectators in in a league games and also in a national team games. So this was basketball is first for sure. But back in the days, yeah, I mean the gyms were full. The gyms were much smaller than they are now for sure. But I can't say that. Of course, the game itself changed, but generally, I think it looks more or less the same. That there are 7, 8, 9 teams. Okay, now we have a league together with Latvians, so it's a little bit bigger, but we still have like eight Estonian teams. It used to be back in the days also similar. In the worst years, maybe 6, 7 teams. In best years, maybe 9 or 10 teams. Most of the teams have 2, 3 foreigners usually. Some teams more, some teams less. But let's say this is something average, and then bunch of Estonian guys. The only thing that is different, I think, from the back of the days that now the kids and the younger guys, they're going out more. Back in the days, everybody kind of stayed. There were very few guys who was playing somewhere in Europe. It was really, really hard to get out of from Estonia.
And when it comes to the level, do you see improvement? Because now we have like the big team Kalev Cramo, like dominating the league. And as you said, back then, not many Estonian guys played abroad. Now we see like looking even at national team. You or Henry Drell, or you had like guys that playing NCAA or in Euroleague. So there is much more diversity and much, I suppose, much bigger, better level. But do you see like improvements when it comes to the first level of Estonian basketball and like the something like called development system? Do you think like the training system for the kids improved during these years?
Yes. I think the kids section or the kids thing went up for sure, because there is, much more information how to practice. There is much more information how to make kids better, how to have them better exercises and stuff. So this for sure improved a lot. Back in 2000s, everybody did their own thing, what they knew from, I don't know, mostly from Soviet Union times maybe, and then that was the thing, and everybody did kind of the same way. Now you have much more information. You can study, you can learn, you can talk and communicate with other coaches. So this has improved a lot. They have this how you call it, like the work clinics or the things where they go and and they study other coaches, and so for sure this has improved a lot. Yes.
And do you think in your times it was necessary to leave Estonia in order to have a good pro career?
I think because the opportunity came. So in my case, I think it was a good way. Yes, I was kind of in that period, like kind of the only one. Like before me, I think the young guys didn't really go out. So I was kind of the first one at that time, but it's hard to say. I think it gives you more opportunities, because first of all, you are, you're playing in another country already. More people see you, but you also, every day you practice with the guys. Especially in my case, I went to Žalgiris second team, so the level is much higher than in your own team. So in that sense, yes, I think it is important, and I think it helps a lot. Of course, it depends where you go. There are also a lot of examples, where kids go somewhere and they're just left there, and yes, and nothing really happens. Yes, they do get a life experience, but a lot of times it also, crashes their dreams, and let's say it doesn't end up very good in their life, sometimes. So it's a tricky thing, but if somebody asks me, I usually say, do your homework, find out where you go, but if there is anything you find good, then I think you should do it, because, it gives you life lessons, but it's also, gives the opportunity or the chances to have a better career.
And do you think for like guys who are coming to pro basketball, it's better to, for example, go play to NCAA, or maybe to go play abroad in good league, European league?
Again, how to say? I've never been in NCAA.
Yeah.
I don't really know I just know the stories and what people talk and the system, but I've never really seen it with my own eyes, so it's hard to compare. But like the world itself is changing, so is the basketball changing. I think like 10 years ago it was better to stay in Europe. Maybe now it's better to go to college. Some kids, have the different playing style that fits, the NCAA system perfectly, and they are not really, let's say, popular in Europe with their style, but in NCAA it works great for them. The other kids are, everybody say, "Ooh, he's an amazing talent, he will be good in Europe." He chooses NCAA, and after 3 years he comes back because he played 10 games in 3 years. So it's hard to say which way is better for somebody. Everybody are different, with different goals, with different, let's say, opportunities, because, you can't really choose the teams always. Not many people have that option. You have to choose what is given to you, sometimes, and you have to make those decisions. So yeah, I think, every player, every kid is unique. They're different, and you have to really look at specific, situation, which way is better.
And how you remember your first years in Kaunas, in Žalgiris Academy? It was hard for you to adapt to new country, new language, new life, new people?
Yeah, it wasn't easy for sure, but if I think now, it went by, like in 3 seconds. But at the moment, no, of course it was tough. In a school, I couldn't understand what lessons I am sometimes. Math was easy, the numbers on the table, and English and German you can figure out. But there were some lessons that I just sit and I had no idea what we were doing or why am I there even. So yes, of course, it took some time. Not many people at that time in Lithuania were talking really good English. Even my coach was like kind of not. My Russian was terrible. I knew just some words, so I couldn't really communicate with the older people, for example. So yeah, it wasn't easy for sure, but at the same time, it pushed me to study Lithuanian faster.
And I think during that time, in this second team, Žalgiris, there was also your current teammate, Juskevicius also played, and Donatas Motiejūnas also. Yes. Yeah, so there was quite familiar names for Polish league fans. And when you had the opportunity finally to play for the first team, what was like the biggest challenge for you? It was it was hard for you, for example, to adapt to the senior locker room, or maybe to the senior level game, because I know you also have like small chances of playing Euroleague at the like 2009-2010 season. So from your perspective of time, what was the hardest thing for you when you moved to the pro?
I mean, like 1 year before that season, we already played in the first league, so in Lithuania first league. Yeah. So it kind of, gave some idea of the, like the professional lifestyle in the first league and those kind of things. But I don't know, at that moment, everything seemed tough. You're physically not there where you're supposed to be, the quicknesses and the game speed were different. There were so many things to learn. Especially we had some older veterans in the team, and they were not like bad guys who don't talk with you. They were sharing their ideas and thoughts all the time, and trying to teach you. And so there was, I think, toughest was to get all the information in your head and then to really put it on a court, somehow, because like, you kind of know what you have to do, but there is a million things you have to think at the same time. and the game is going so fast. So everything at that moment seemed like crazy tough. But you just took a time until you adapt, you get better. You work every day, and this helps you a lot. But yeah, there were a lot of challenges, I think, at that time.
And do you remember maybe one guy in opponent team that really like kick your ass at the beginning of your pro career? That he gave you a big basketball lesson?
Yeah, probably there was many of them, but it's hard to remember like one specific one who really got. I just remember that we played Wielkopolski at that time, and there was a legendary guy, Mirza Turkcan. I knew him as a player, and I know that he's a tough guy, and I was scared then that this might be something, and I think the first contact I got from him was enough also to blow it.
And now, if you had to pick the season when you grew up as a player the most, which season it will be?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think like the crucial one is the first one when I went to Lithuania, because everything changed. Life changed, basketball changed. Let's say the understanding of the game was different. All this kind. Then I think this first year in Euroleague with the Žalgiris team, I think this was also it's crucial. It's another level. It's different. Players. The level, the quality, it's something, you don't, as a kid, you don't really haven't seen that yet, before. And then maybe the first year after Žalgiris, so it's like
in Novogorod.
Yes, exactly. Then you have to put all that out that you have learned before, because let's say in a bigger team, you're part of the team. I was not like the superstar of the team or something, so to come out from that role, let's say, and then, you have to show your thing and everything, what you have learned, what you are good at. You have to put this in a different environment, and you kind of have to prove yourself, that first that you were good enough to be there, but why you were there, now you have to put it on a court on a different team and you have to do different things, Now it's your time to be one of the leaders of the team. So I think these 3 years it's hard to put them in order, so, but those are, I think, the ones that teach a lot, probably.
And tell me more about this season in Russia, because as you said, you just left Žalgiris after many years. Of course, you have some loans to other teams like to Ludwigsburg, but yeah, you finally, because in Žalgiris you were like, maybe it's a brutal way to say, but you were their product, Mm-hmm. And you were one of their players. I think you spoke Lithuanian already. But yeah, at that time you left to Russia. From what I know, always when you go to Russia as a foreigner, you have big. There is a big expectation towards you. Of course, this is in all leagues when you are a foreigner player, but in Russia especially. So from your memory, how tough was to adapt to the Russian league and maybe Russian basketball system?
I mean, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't also something, crazy, I don't know, harder or something that you haven't seen before, I mean, there were, bigger teams who were tough to play, but that year we also played Eurocup. So the schedule was kind of the same. It didn't change, drastically, let's say, from the Euroleague. So you still had most of the weeks you had 2 games and a lot of traveling. So yeah, I mean, the expectations are different, of course, for the foreigners. It's not a question. Basketball wise, I think it wasn't such a big change or shock because our coach was from Latvia, so it's kind of
similar.
The mentality and the idea has some similarities. So I think this wasn't the biggest challenge there.
But when I look at your career, I'm wondering which league you like better, the Italian or Spanish? Because you spent a lot of time in many teams on both league, and I don't know which one of them is your favorite.
I mean, Spanish, is the number one league in Europe. It's tough. It's so competitive, and with probably the most best players, in Europe, most of the teams. So this is tough, but I liked Italy a lot in the Italian league. I usually played also good there, so it somehow maybe it fitted me a little bit better there somehow. I don't know, the game style or something, or maybe I was just in a good club.
For sure, like Varese is a quite nice place to live, to be honest. So
exactly.
And tell me, because there is interesting thing about like year 2018 when you signed at the beginning contract to replace injured player. It was in Manresa. Then this contract ends. You going to Fuenlabrada, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then you spent 1 week later you opt out your contract and go to Gran Canaria. So during few months you played for 3 teams. Tell me more about that time. It wasn't difficult for you to change the team so quickly?
No, it's difficult, of course, but it was unexpected. First, when I was still in Manresa, Gran Canaria, I think they were asking around me, or they was interested or something, something was going on. But my contract with Manresa finished and I was about to go home and, they didn't offer anything. So time went by, I went home and I think I spent 2-3 weeks home maybe. And then the national team break came and I played for national team and then Fuenlabrada came up. And I chose Fuenlabrada. I signed with them, and I spent there I think 3 or 4 days maybe. I played the game against Manresa. We beat Manresa, and next morning I think Gran Canaria showed up. Yes, then they finally figured out.
Because at that time it was a Euroleague team. So
yes.
And in Gran Canaria at that time, there was also the young Aleksander Balcerowski. He was at that time very, very young, but how you remember him? Did you saw at that time in him talent to basketball?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he was already big, not physically big, but a tall guy, a tall kid, you can see that he has some moves, he has, decent, let's say, soft touch for the shot and things. So as a big guy shooting, you can see, yes, of course. And he was kind of in a rotation too. He was playing some minutes.
Yes.
So in that age, if somebody in that age plays minutes in Euroleague or in ACB, it's a big thing, and it's hard to say that I didn't see anything in him.
And because also that was a second time in your career that you had the opportunity to play in EuroLeague. From your perspective, how EuroLeague changed between your first time and the second time you played there? Because for sure, if you remember, there was a time that the EuroLeague became closer league, almost like we see today. Like not many clubs can get into EuroLeague, but I remember 15 years ago there was even Polish clubs Sopot. There was many clubs. There was bigger league. And from your perspective, how you see this change, and did you like the fact that EuroLeague became more exclusive?
Yeah, I think this is the biggest change. That before were groups, you didn't get to see a lot of teams. I think there was 4 years we played maybe with Real Madrid, but we never played Barcelona. For example, things like this. idea. So the groups and the format we have now is the biggest change. I mean, the level got up also because I think the teams know that they are in Euroleague. They're not afraid to fall out. So the budgets grew a lot. They can sign longer contracts. So I think at one point the level went up drastically a lot. And the organization-wise, I think the league improved a lot. Actually, also from let's say from my first year or around that time, and let's compare it to the now.
And for like player of Spanish team, does the game against Real or Barcelona was special for your teams? Like, did you like have like special approach maybe to play, because they are known as one of the biggest names in Europe, but when you are a player already of ACB, maybe you can be used to this game. So I don't know from your perspective, how was it?
No, I don't think you have a special approach. You still going the game plan the coach gives you, and you're trying to win the game, and you're trying to do your own things, good, to be as good as possible, and then to look nice out there, let's say. But it's somehow it's still different, Some are bigger clubs are always, the names are the ones that every fan knows, and usually there are more people against some teams,
Yeah.
So it has this little extra spice in there, maybe.
And before I ask you about the Poland, I have to also ask you about this Hapoel season, because you were so close to win the BCL with the team. You lost to the Bonn, I think. Yeah, it was a Bonn with TJ Shorts, and it was I think at the time there was a Džikić was the coach of Hapoel. Now we see like Hapoel grew up as a team, but how you remember your time in Israel League and in Hapoel?
No, overall it was a good time. I think we had not so easy start maybe because it was kind of new team, new coach with a totally different system. I think they have usually in Israel. But it took some time. But at the end it was. I think we did not so bad. Maybe in Israeli league we could have been ended a little bit better, but overall was good time. I liked Coach Džikić a lot, and his way of doing things.
And how was it like to work with him?
Good. I really liked. I really enjoyed. It was not easy, but I have good memories from him as a person and as a coach. So both ways, it was cool. And I think as a team we kind of grew together. So when coach finds or figures out the way how to do this, I think it helps you a lot on a court and also in a result.
And what you knew about the Polish league before you signed a contract with Stal? And in general, how this deal with Ostrow came out?
It came out like my agent called me. But no, what I knew before. I have some friends who have played here, so it's something that, let's say, it's between Baltic and Germany, let's say between us and Europe. So also in a map wise and also in a basketball wise, I think it's, similar story. I can't say I was like a big fan and following every game, but I knew some things, yes, because especially that he played last 2 years here,
yes.
And then before that there were some other friends who were playing here, so I was following them. So I know at least most of the names of the teams and how more or less their structure is or how is the organization there.
So it was already big success because, for example, like a few months ago, I spoke with Isaiah Whitehead, and he told me a story that after NBA he had offer from Valencia and Lokomotiv Kuban, and he thought like Euroleague and Eurocup is the same competition at that time. So for him it wasn't like difference between Euroleague and the Eurocup, but you already know some teams there. As you said, there was some your teammates from national team like I think Matthias Stas also played for a short while in Dąbrowa. And does something surprise you when it comes to the Polish league? Because most of the foreigner players mentioning the physicality of this league, that referees allow for much contact.
Yes, but I heard it a lot before, so I can't say it was a surprise. I heard it and it was true. What everybody said more or less. But yeah, I think. But it's also, I think, not so crazy. Some games are tougher, some games are not. It's maybe, I would say the referees are also, different. Like this is, I think, the hardest to adapt. Some games it looks like you can fight everyone, then there are no calls, and the other games are, can't touch really anybody. So, but yeah, it's overall, I think it's quite physical, and everybody who has been here has told that.
How is it like to be coached by a coach who is just 1 year older than you?
1 year younger.
Younger? Yeah. So my bad. Sorry, because I thought like he's 89, but he's 91.
91. Yeah.
So how is like it isn't a strange thing for you?
I mean, it is strange on a paper, before you know the fact. But once you get into the gym, it doesn't really matter, nothing. And it just matters that he has the, respect, or the, let's say that people know that he's the coach and everybody else is a player. When we start working, we're not friends or enemies.
Yeah.
We just have to do our work, and doesn't matter if he's 12 or 82. At the end of the day, we still need to get our things done, and it is how it is. It's just part of work. But it's the first time that has happened like this. So yeah, for the first, when I heard it, it was.
Doesn't that make you old?
I don't want to talk about this.
And how Coach Urban is like before or after practice, when behind the cameras?
Before the practice, I don't see him. He's working, doing video or something. But no, after practice, he's a cool guy. He's he's not crazy or Serbian style yelling guy. So he's very, very polite. He can talk with you. We discuss, I think, a lot about different basketball, sometimes about life also. So no, he's cool guy.
When I'm thinking about your career, your games from the perspective of Polish person, the most important part is your national team career. Because of this last years, because you had many times of play against Polish national team. But before we talk about this, tell me about your first camp with national team, senior national team. How was like to be for the first time be a part of this team, meet older veteran players, national team players. How you remember this time?
So it's tough because like the very, very first time I get there, I was injured. And I was, they put me in the list, but they knew that I'm not gonna, play anyway because I had to come back from injury. So I went there, I think 2 times. So I kind of already met everybody, And the next year when I really, really played there, so I already knew the guys, and had some first contact, and then it was not so hard anymore. I think it would have been, different if I started from zero. But yeah, now I got that first contact a little bit before. Of course, when you first time play with a shirt and in front of the crowd. Let's be honest, the hands are shaky and legs even more, So it's a good feeling, and for sure, like the start was, I don't know, not full of confidence, maybe, the first games, but yeah, it's always been, let's say, great feeling to play, and until now it hasn't changed.
But in general, what made Estonia national team so good, quite good in recent years? It was like the job of the coaches, because you have like the Finnish coach for the few years. Now you have like the Estonian, but after 2015 Eurobasket, which you also played, you had like the 22 basket, and the very important, maybe not informative, maybe the World Cup qualifier 2023, when you beat the Poland in table and you move to the next round. And yes, just if you could tell me, it's because of the generation of current players, of the coach's job, because almost everybody can say that Estonia national team really grew up as a team.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say. Also there is probably no one thing that changed or that somebody else could copy. I think it's, one, we had a different coach that changed it a little bit, the way we played, the mentality, maybe like the everyday work, because he was not coached with any teams. He was just working for the federation and, going to the clubs to, give advice, to see the players. He was traveling around Europe, visiting all the players who are in national team, keeping in good contact. So this was one thing. Other thing for sure is the generation thing. Let's say there is that good group of maybe 99 to 2004, let's say, maybe, that is some of them still, finding themselves and growing as a player, most of them. So I think this is also a big part of it. A lot of them went out as a, let's say, teenagers, so they get their first experience and tough time in life. They learn the lessons in other country, in other teams, but they also learn different ways to play and how to survive as a basketball player. And then probably the youth coaches, who raised them, probably also, like we talked before, that the time when I was a kid and time now, the abilities are totally different. So probably they are maybe the first generation who got that, more lessons and more European or more, worldwide basketball education, let's say, from their young coaches who raised them as a kid. So I think those three things maybe are the most important in this, let's say, success or the better way we look now.
And do you see difference when it comes to the popularity of the Estonian national team? Does this results change like the opinion of Estonian people about you as a team?
Yes, I think so. The February window is sold out already, actually a few months ago.
I remember also the game against Poland that many people were like on the crowd.
I think the Poland game was also basically sold out in, I don't know, March. Like half a year before. So for sure, maybe it will happen back in maybe 2000, 2001, maybe it happened, but it hasn't happened since then too much. And before that also, I don't think it happened too many times, So, yes, I think we're in a good peak moment, I think, for also, I think the people like the team because it's kind of fun to watch. And also there are some results. So, two things, that success and entertainment, they go together pretty well.
And how could you describe your role in this team? Because you are a captain of this team, and as you said, younger guys who now leading this team, and so that means your role is changing in this team. How? Yeah. Do you play there as the veteran guy, or you trying to be still a young guy to these younger guys? Yeah. How is from your perspective to be part of this team when, to be honest, the younger guys come to the boys?
Yeah, I'm a stepfather to them, huh? No, I don't know. It's again, when you get to the court, you don't think about this.
Yeah.
Everybody's fighting for their position, but of course, you have some more experience, in everyday life, also on a court. So sometimes you try to share something. There are a bunch of guys we are talking not every day, but we are talking a lot.
Yeah.
We're keeping in touch, and we have also a lot of fun outside of the court. So, some kids are, I tell them kids all the time, but actually they're already 25. They're not so kids anymore. But still, they're almost 10 years younger, a bunch of them than me. So, but yeah, I don't know. We find also, I think it's also one of the good points that we find a good chemistry between not just, when we get together on the windows, but we are also, with some guys, we are having holidays together in the summer, and we're talking a lot, and we're spending time together. So
with whom with whom you have the best contact?
There's a bunch of us. We get Yazar for sure, because he's also the older one. I have to give some veterans close to me, But Kullamäe Treier, we go to holidays, Then there are other guys also who get in that mix a lot.
And what do you think about the Henry Drell? Because last year he became last season he became the second Estonian NBA player. I know that right now he's playing for a G League. And how you see his future, and what do you think about him as a player?
I don't see him too much. He's in USA all the time. But no, I hope he will get the chance again in NBA. He will make it, not just two-way. I hope he's gonna get the real contract there, and then he will play for sure. It's not easy, but he's doing well in the G League most of the time. So he earned the contract with Bulls before. I hope it will work out again. But I think he's been looking trying to find his game a lot, is he a 3-man? Is he a 4-man? Is he a just driver guy? Is he a defensive guy? Is he a rebounder guy? It's always been something, and everybody has, I think, all his life, somebody trying to tell what he should be. So he was in Germany, he was in Italy, was maybe not the easiest time for him. Also, he figured out maybe the States might be the best. Not maybe everybody were convinced that it's a good idea, but at the moment, at least, there is a hope that it's going to work out for him. And, right now he's doing good. He's playing better. He's doing less stupid things maybe on the court, I would say. So he has, he has become much better on that. He has learned. I think he's growing also as a person. And I hope he can play for national team. That's why I don't want him to be in the States, but at the end of the day, I hope he gonna make it to the NBA again.
And do you see other young guys who in the future can be leading stars of Estonia national team?
Yes, of course. I mean, there are some interesting kids, who has been also, leaving Estonia quite early, and they're playing some other countries. So there are some guys who are coming. We have some guys in NCAA.
Yes.
Who've been doing maybe not so easy time, but I think for the national team they will always play good. For example, Lisa, and Bezar hasn't been too much with us, but he's a big guy who we don't have too many in Estonia. So, it's kind of unique for us. And then I hope he will find his way and his path also, better, faster than slower. But yeah, there are some hope. If I'm going to finish there, I think the level will not drop too much. It will drop for sure, but maybe, maybe not too much.
And could you tell me about these games, one games against Germany and Poland? What was like because for sure winning against Germany was a quite big thing for like the Estonian basketball. But do you remember that game? What was like the key to success to your team?
I think like I don't know how to say, like the generation before who I was playing with, so, let's say the older guys, 80s guys. It was like a lot of like Estonian mentality, like, we keep our mouths shut, we don't talk too much, we just go, we just work, and then we see how the work goes, I mean, of course, everybody wants to win, but, we're like working hard. Let's go. Let's play the game. Let's give everything, and then we'll see. I think the younger guys, they're coming. They're a little bit more different. They're a little bit more emotional. They're a little bit more open as a persons, and they're not afraid to say sometimes that fuck it, we're gonna win it. And somehow the chemistry, like the chemistry, has been always good. Like in all my, I don't know how long I've been there, 15 years. But it's different a little bit, the good chemistry. Like now it's, it's like, it's also fun on the court. Before I said, like we used to be playing hard, like, let's go, let's play, like we must do the work, we must do it. Now it's more fun, everybody's enjoying. At the same time, they know they have a huge responsibility on their shoulders, but they know how to enjoy the game more. I don't really know how to still sometimes. I'm from an older generation. I still don't know. They know.
But but does this victory against these teams, especially against Germany, does change something in your team? Do you think that maybe that was the beginning of like building a much better team? Because sometimes when like the underdog beat bigger teams, this win could be like beginning of the new chapter. And I'm looking at this from this way to your history.
Yes and no. I'm not sure it was exactly the point, when things changed or turned. But for sure, because I think it was the first game of the
the qualifiers.
First win, the qualifiers. So or the new, new, how do you call it? But I can't remember if this was the first game for the Finnish coach or not, for Jukka. I think it wasn't, so I think it started a little bit earlier. So, but I mean, every win like that, gives you the understanding and the confidence that you're doing, things right way, and you can compete and you can beat somebody, So for sure, it's a big one, and it helped us on that way for sure. Yes.
And do you think about the next year and Eurobasket?
Yes.
But do you have like plans to play for a team after Eurobasket, or this will be like your last tournament?
First, we have to make the tournament, but no, I don't know. I'm not pushing it, or I don't feel like, the time is up or something, or I don't want to do it anymore. It's not like that. I don't know. If we make it, I will try to make the team to play there, and then we'll see. I don't know. I'm not pushing it, or I don't have a date or age limit when I have to stop it there.
I don't know. In general, do you have plan for your future after basketball?
Plan, no. Some ideas, maybe, but it's hard to say until you're not in that position,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Coaching is one of the options?
Not really. Not really. But I think it will be something around basketball anyway, yes.
And coming to the end, because always in my podcast, I ask the guests to pick their dream team, but only from the guys that played with. Mm-hmm. You can choose by the level of the players, you can choose by the your sympathy towards the player, but only rule is that you have to play with them in one team or national team. And you have explained each choice. So I will start with the point guard.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, it's hard now. You have to pick either your friend or a great player,
Yes.
Trying to figure out the greatest player, I think, but it was in the end of his career was Sharas for sure, but they were rather good. Listen, I will take the between. I will not take best friend and I will not take the greatest player, but I really liked and I really enjoyed playing with Alex Renfrew.
Why?
I don't know. We clicked good on the court, I don't know. We understood the game and the way to play very similar way, I think. And wow, he passed me the ball.
Shooting guard?
I think here I have to go with Marcus Brown. At that time, he was, the top scorer of Euroleague. A lot of experience, great player.
Small forward?
This is the toughest, I think. Because I played also a lot myself as a small forward. So
you can choose, you can pick yourself.
I can put myself.
Yeah, if you want, you can.
Okay, I put myself as a 3.
But why? Why you put yourself to your team?
I'm good enough to play with them.
Okay, power forward.
It's tough also. There is Yankunas and there is Kangur. So, all-time top rebounder in Euroleague, maybe. He's better. Is he top? No, he's not. He was something else. But he was, every Euroleague legend. I will take Yankunas.
Okay, Yankunas on 4. And on 5, on center position?
This is tough one also. Estonia really never had centers, We finally now have Kotsar, so it hasn't been too long, but to have a really good team, probably I need Yevtokas, so I take it.
Okay, and coach?
Ooh, that's tough. I have to choose my father or some other coach. You're putting me in a tough situation. Okay, but let's not do the family business. Let's make some another team. So it has to be either Cikic or Benaroya. It's a tough choice. With Cikic, I was all season. With Benaroya, I was short of time.
So Cikic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let the fat guy yell on the ice.
And apart of staying healthy, what I can wish to you?
I don't know. Great life, to enjoy and have fun.
Okay, so I wish you this, and I wish you good luck with the team, in the club and the national team. And big thanks, Siim, for joining my podcast. It was a great pleasure to host you, to hear your story. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. I hope it will be good for you too.